All right, how are y'all doing? All right, Arizona, come on, I need a little bit more from you. How are y'all doing? I'm from Chicago, so I say y'all. So here we are on the heels of a great event that happened 50 years ago on August 28th in front of the Lincoln Memorial. We're here to commemorate one of many events that strengthened the civil rights movement that we know and has shaped our community today. What did we learn from it? Have we arrived? In 50 years, have we arrived? My story is a quick one. I was born the last of 8 children to a 2-parent household in the suburbs of Chicago. My parents were able to send me to college and provide for me, and they gave me the love every child deserves from both of his parents. However, when I was younger, I quickly learned that I was the exception to the rule in the black community. After 50 years, I am the exception. After the countless marches, I am the exception. After our brothers and sisters in the movement were hosed down and oppressed, I am still the exception. Whitney Young Jr. once said, "It is better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared." Seems like we were prepared for the civil rights movement, our opportunity, and then when change came, we turned out not to be as prepared as we thought. Now, how could I say something like that? Because after 50 years of marches, after 50 years of hosing down of our brothers and sisters, we're still behind in education. Our communities have declined, our spirit of entrepreneurship has dwindled, and our support for one another is all but faded, and we're not yet ready to dig in our heels to solve problems of poverty, education, employment, and housing. These were things that were addressed by the Urban League 103 years ago. These were things addressed by this movement we're commemorating today 50 years ago. Should we really be addressing them 50 years later? I'm here to plead with my community, the black community, to start digging in our heels to tackle these problems. Don't wait. Don't wait for someone to help you. Don't wait for the government to give you aid. Don't wait for someone to recognize your talents. Don't wait for a college application or an acceptance letter to fall in your lap. Go out there and make it happen. Forge your own destinies. If we are to be the recipients of the civil rights movement, and it was a movement, why hasn't movement happened? We've come far, our first black president, several black leaders and CEOs, black policymakers, and more blacks in college than 50 years ago, but have we come 50 years far enough? 50 years ago, we marched for jobs and freedom, and 50 years later, we're marching for justice, jobs, and freedom. But if we are the recipients of the I Have a Dream speech and several speeches spoken by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and if we are the recipients of the work of Malcolm X and Whitney Young Jr., and several other black prominent leaders of decades past, how are we still here? Marching for the same thing.